issues starting from Nasarawa State as to protest non-payment of allowances, salaries. Suicide, former Conga CEO kills self in Lagos. Economic hardship, Tinubu approves grants and food packages for households. On aviation, private aircrafts used for money laundering, drug trafficking. That's from Keyamo. These are the issues we're going to be looking at today. You can join us on all our media platforms, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, X Atlantic TV Net. You can also watch us live on our website, atlanticnetwork.tv. When we return from this short break, I will introduce my guests for today's show. Do stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Society Watch on Atlantic Television Network. And we have amazing guests today in the house. He is a social commentator. I'm talking about Mr. Augustine. It's good to have you in the house. How are you doing, Mr. Augustine?
I'm very fine. I'm delighted to be in your TV show today. Thank you so much.
It's been a while. You look good anyways.
Thanks so much. And you too.
All right, let's go straight to our stories for today, looking at it from Nasarawa State. The Academic Staff Union of Universities branch at the Federal University of Lafayette protested on Wednesday over issues such as non-payment of earned academic allowances, promotion arrears, and withheld salaries by the federal government. The protest began at 10 a.m. and ended at 11:30 at the university's main gate. The protesters carried placards demanding better fundings for universities and respect for universities' autonomy. Dr. Sunday Oringia, the branch chairperson, urged President Bola Tinubu to negotiate with new salary package to prevent disruptions in academic activities. He called for signing and implementation of the Nimi Bridge renegotiated draft agreement, resumption of salaries negotiations, and funding of universities' revitalization. Orinye stressed ASU's commitment to improving members' welfare and reinstated government attempts to undermine the union's effort. He highlighted the poor condition of public universities and the need for transparency and accountability, while criticizing the integrated payroll and personal information system. He assured continuous effort to improve public education and avoid a nationwide strike. All right, Mr. Augustine, I'm sure you are acquainted with the information that is flying on the social media. Just a few days ago, we saw in university where lecturers protested, decrying the level at which federal government has not met their demand to pay them their 30 to 40 month salaries. And according to them, that since they promoted these lecturers about 325 to professional levels, they have not actually paid them their salaries. And yet we are seeing the same thing. This is still a federal university we are talking about here in Nasarawa State. Lecturers bemoan non-payment of academic allowances and salaries. What do you think about this? And coupled with the fact that the federal government is still dragging feet with the medium wage, the new minimum wage, and they don't want to do anything about it as it stands right now. What is your take on this, and what do you think they should do for a better educational sector?
Okay, thank you very much. You see, the problem is, as it has been a recurrent decimal
that has been happening so far. But I love the way ASU come out to protest, at least to agitate for their own rights, because whoever that works needs to be paid. And of course, everything is subject to federal government, at least workers also have been paid. But it still baffles me that some people that are protesting, they were also part of the kind of governance that we have today. Because we have institutions whereby they are the ones enabling some political or jamborees we're having in Nigeria today. They were part of the reasons and the whole thing. When the masses come out to advocate for a good governance, for good leadership for the country, the same academic unions, the same professors, the same lecturers will also be paying part and parcel with these politicians to instigate bad governance in the country. But at the end of the day, they are not being deprived, right? They will now come to say they want to protest. And I must say that it's a case of the chicken coming home to roost, because if we have had a better government or a better leadership in the country, I don't think anyone will even be happy to be complaining about protest or anything. But that does not mean that they shouldn't be paid. Yes, if they are being owed, definitely they have right to be owed. And another thing is this: these same lecturers you are seeing protesting in that institution and that same institution, some money that has been given by this same federal government for the better development of those institutions. This academic bodies, especially in their own institutions, they have all mismanaged most of these funds. Most of them, these same people that are protesting, if you still give them the same money, they will still share it among themselves, and tomorrow they will still come again and say they have not been paid. Only, do you know how much university institutions are generating on a daily basis, on a given month, years? They can't even account for it. Internally, what have they been using the money to? So when they are now coming out to protest, to me, it's kind of a laughing scenario to me, because the president Tinubu has not even had time for the minimum wage that's even at stake now, let alone even listening to them, because these people are also part of the problem that we are having presently in the country.
All right.
That's just my opinion.
All right, Mr. Augustine, when you are saying that, when you're talking about mismanagement of funds, I think if I heard you rightly, you talked about mismanagement of funds. Remember that these people, the lecturers in question, and ASU as general, they are protesting for their salaries. They are protesting because of the salaries that the federal government has not paid them, and also talking about other academic allowances that has not been given to them. So when you were saying mismanagement of fund, are you trying to say that they are not using their salaries or whatever allowances that is given to them wisely? What are you trying to say? Make me understand.
Okay, what I'm trying to let you know is that these lecturers you're seeing, the same system of government that we have presently, they are the one enabling it. They are the one enabling it. And most often times, when they come in contact with this federal government to negotiate or to deliberate on issues on how salary can be paid as at when, these lecturers will not stick to their gun to make sure that this same salary is being mandated and so time is not be paid, but rather some of them will still go at the back of them and collect tip that will still make the same federal government, when it comes to the time of fulfilling their own promises, this federal government will not now yield to it, because they are not speaking with the same mouth. You understand me? Because at this point in time, salary should not be a case of a hard work, but because they have not been serious right from day one, they have not been speaking with one voice. Do you understand me? If you check among all of them that are protesting for the salary issues now, as soon as federal government reach out to one of the heads or say, as okay, you take, tell people to go and relax, you see all of them, they will not longer what agitate again. But for the federal government not do not support that totally. But whichever way it may be, the federal government knows that these people are not serious. Every day, every year upon year, we see us coming to agitate for salaries, salaries. Now, since we have been sitting, been negotiating with the federal government for a couple of years now, what have we had out of it? And that is why when they come out to protest, the federal government is taking them serious. And they will continue not to be taking them serious because they themselves are not serious.
All right.
Now, when I come in terms of what I was saying, in terms of mismanagement of the resources I was talking about, these people, even some allocation to the federal universities and other universities from federal government apart from their salaries, how have they even been using it? Do you understand me? Because from the question you popped up, you are saying that some of the internal environment that they have for structural facilities for development in the schools apart from their salaries and the rest. Now, some of the internally generated revenue in those institutions, ask them how those resources were being used. The students have been taxed to the point that the students can't even breathe before they will cough out some money out of their pocket just to pay some remunerations to this institution. But at the end of the day, you can't even see some of the things they use all this money to do in the institution. So right. I'm only making this aspect based on what you said in terms of the infrastructure development, of these institutions. I say.
Okay, Mr. Augustine, we remember that late last year, the federal government came up with the idea of federal universities making a return of the internal generated revenue, in which it was actually a problem because they are still in the middle. They have not actually come to agreement on that. But do we have any right to question how these funds are running? Because we see that universities actually going, even though they are saying that the university's environment is no longer conducive for learning, and I'm wondering, why is it that a state-owned university are not crying out the way federal-owned are doing right now? We saw University of Port Harcourt in the same vein. We are seeing university from Kwara State. I mean, these are all federal-owned universities. Why are they keeping lecturers money? Why are they keeping lecturers' salaries for over 30 to 40 months? How are they expecting them to bring out their professionalism into whatever thing they are doing?
It's the same thing I was still saying before. It still boils down to the same set of people that are protesting. Check their leadership. Check now. That's why in university you have vice chancellor. Now, if you check most vice chancellors, as soon as resources come for the institutions, they pocket the whole thing. You can't even see development in this institution. Now, if you use University of Port Harcourt as a case study, now, if you take statistics of virtually most universities in Nigeria, you will discover that it is not all of them that are in ramshackle. Most universities, they are doing well. Most universities, their vice chancellors have put, they have made sure that all hands are on deck to make sure that they transmogrify the school, irrespective of, when federal government will pay them salary. They make sure they use the resources at hand to make sure that they bring development to the school. So the federal government has not paying them salary still remain this constant. Based on what you are saying before, that one it has been a malaria between federal government and ASU for years. And I've been telling you that because our lecturers, our university institutions have made themselves to this federal government. So federal government can, they have chosen not to even listen to them again. Because when you look at the leadership of most of these institutions, they are not strong worthy of enough to agitate for the good dividends and development of most institutions. Most vice chancellors are suggesting that they can't push agenda for their institution. And when they do not do that, you see those institutions lagging behind. And why federal governments refuse to act, to follow on their own and be sorted out in Nigeria? No, they will. In fact, those that are the federal government can even deliberately tell you that they are owing you. You will know that they are owing you. Nothing you can do about it. And these things have led all academic navigations and our various institutions. Everything that's happening in this country is very visible to the blind and visible to the deaf. It's not something, of course, they are owing them. Why? Because it's corruption. We also what happened in the previous elections we have had, where lecturers that are supposed to be, give the for the country, they are part of electoral malpractices and so when the product is now coming home to infest them, they will now come out to be protesting. Who are you protesting to? Who are you protesting to? So it's a case of you can't eat your cake and still have it, and it's a case of the chicken coming home to roost. You understand me? So why they are not being paid?
So, Mr. Augustine,
boils down to what? Corrupt.
Mr. Augustine,
yes.
are you trying
yes.
to say lecturers do not have any right to protest for what belongs to them?
Of course, to protest what belongs to them. Of course, and I pray that the federal government also listen to them and pay them. But just as I'm saying that prevention is always better than cure. When you have an effective leadership, a leadership that values education, a leadership that prioritizes education, a leadership that knows that lecturers and teachers ought to be paid, you don't even need to cry about it. You don't even need to cry about. But when you have a system whereby the same academic ambience, the same academic workers are still the same people enabling this corrupt system of governance that we have presently. So what do you have in it? That's why when they come out to be protesting, everybody just look at this people. Why are you protesting for? Why? Because it's what you enable.
All right, thank you so much.
When election comes now, you understand me? So when election comes, and who are the people they use? They first of all go for university professors. And professors will come, after they have pocketed millions, they will put whoever they want to put in the leadership.
Well,
later,
Mr. Augustine, that sounds like your own opinion because we can't really give evidence concerning that. But meanwhile, let's look at the next story for today from on suicide. Nikki Mudia, former CEO of Nigerian e-commerce giant Konga, reportedly died by suicide on June 25, 2024 by jumping from his apartment's balcony in Lekki, Lagos State. Before his days, Mondia called his US-based brothers to discuss the distribution of his wealth and his young daughter to assure her of his presence in spirit. His friends, families, and associates are in shock and baffled by his action. Modia, an indigene of Delta State, has previously divorced the mother of his daughter due to irreconcilable differences. The incident was confirmed by Lagos State Police Command Relations Officer Benjamin Honduin. Wow. Mr. Augustine,
yes.
A lot of persons will say that why people are committing suicide is because of the hardship in the country. That people are committing suicide because of lack of employment. In his own case, we are talking about the CEO, a man that everything is within his reach. And something spectacular happened there, according to the story that we had here, that he first of all called his family to talk how his wealth will be distributed before committing suicide. What do you think about this? Is money really the reason why some of the atrocities in the country is going on? Because now someone is a man of his word. Let me say a man that has something to offer, but yet he committed suicide. What do you think?
Okay, thank you very much. I will look at this scenario in two perspectives. One is in the aspect of, apart from that is why talk about family love. Family love. It's quite unfortunate. If you check, the man is a divorcee, has been living along with the daughter, and of course the other partner is not around. At least we may necessarily say that in this present life now, a lot of people are battling so many issues, especially depression, irrespective of your money. Because even the rich also cries. His man is not an exemption. He has the rich, he has the money, he has the connection and the wealth. But it is just life. So many things happen. But the major point is this: irrespective of your situation, there is no reason, there's no rationale for anyone to take his our own life, because there's always a future time. It's quite unfortunate that despite all his status in life, he still chooses to end it this way. Of course, his money couldn't save him, nothing could save him. But what actually prompted him to that could be what you and I do not know. Yeah, because apart from the physical world, we also have the spiritual world. A lot of things happen, and most people of affluence like this in the society, most great schedules, we have so many supporting flames, because you as a man, as a powerful man in the society, we, you always come supporting flames. The supporting flame is metaphoric. I will not go deep into that. So most often times there's always a time whereby when you try to renew, when you try to break away some of these supporting flames, there is always a penalty awaiting you. So those penalty awaiting you may happen to you that even when people hear it, they will be like, is this person rational? Why could this person even do something? But you may not understand what have happened behind the scene. You understand me? So a lot of things have played behind the scene, but you will just look at it as if someone, because on a man, no sensible man will just choose to end his life like that. A man has all the wealth, all the resources, connections, and the rest. But it's beyond what we are looking at. It's beyond the way we are seeing. Just as I said earlier, when the supporting flames, probably you are trying, there's always a pledge to these supporting flames. And then, when the pledge is kind of trying to go against this, is these flames here, and a lot of things come back to what roast down person. So many things happen. So the world is beyond the way we are seeing it. So many things happen. So all I can say is that people should also take their time to monitor their health, because health is where people are suffering the kind of mental breakdown, these days. So occasional visits to the hospital, mental checkup, body checkup, and should be able to curtail this, and as well surrounding oneself with loved ones can as well help to curtail all these things. Because if you check from the story, no one pushed him, he delivered on his own. So assuming he may be going so many stuff that he wish he can't share with someone. At least you can be visiting therapy, so a therapist can as well be talking him out of it. But probably he didn't engage in all the things, and this can be it. Then the other way that could have prevented this is the other one that I told you. The spiritual aspect is what you and I may not necessarily know. But what I know that as far as life is concerned, when you see a great tough man, a man of status in the society, the man is always being surrounded and supported with so many supporting flames. And these supporting flames come with so many uh, um, allegiance. And when you go against some of all these allegiance, so many things occur. That is just my view.
All right, thank you. At this point, it is very essential to let us know that depression is one of the common most mental health disorder in the world. And of course, most times we can detect, and sometimes, of course, we can. Reach out to your friends. It's obvious that money is not everything. Money cannot buy joy.
Exactly.
You can have everything in this world and still be depressed. And for the depressed, if you know you are in that state where you can't understand what is going on around you, it is also beautiful that you reach out to someone that this is what you were going through. If you don't tell someone that you are having a problem, they would not be able to serve. They will not be able to do something about it. Suicide is not the solution. Your life is very important, if not to you, to your loved ones. If not to you, to me. If not to you, to the world. Your life is very important. Let's check our health status every day and be very, very careful with what we expose ourselves to in order to end up being depressed and the next result will be suicide. Okay, that is where we will just go on a short break. This is Society Watch on Atlantic Television Network. We will return after this short break. Do stay with us.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Society Watch on Atlantic Television Network, and now the rest of our stories. On economic hardship, President Bola Tinubu approved a national construction and household support program at a National Economic Council meeting in Abuja. The programs aim to boost agricultural productivity, strengthen economic relief to Nigerians' households. Key initiatives include a 50,000 uplifts grant for 100 families per state for 3 months, 155 billion food distribution to families to address food security. Infrastructure projects such as the Sokoto-Badagry Highway, Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, Trans-Saharan Highway, and full financing for the Port Harcourt-Maiduguri Railway and the Ibadan-Abuja segment of the Lagos-Kano Railway. 10 billion naira to each state and the FCT for bus procurement and compressed natural gas program. President Tinubu urged governors to collaborate on agricultural reforms. And emphasize the importance of producing high-quality food to create jobs and generate wealth. He promised supporters to mechanization quality seedings and solar power irrigation, stressing the urgency of these initiatives. All right. Mr. Augustine, talking about economic hardship, of course, you know that Nigerians, including you and I, are struggling because of a lot that is going on in Nigeria, and especially after the removal of fuel subsidy. And the president has come up with an initiative to give 50,000 uplifts grants for 100 families that's per state for 3 months. And we know that, let's take Lekki, for example. Only in Lekki, I think we have more than 100 families in Lekki. In each state, if you were to take statistics, since they have not done census yet, we have more than 100 families. We have more than thousands. And the governor, the president, is giving 50,000 grants to 100 families per state. How would this alleviate economic hardship? How would this help? Will it go a long way, or what do you think?
You see, it is very, very reprehensible. It's very reprehensible and very, very lugubrious that we find ourselves in a country that is called Nigeria. Because I don't know how to describe the crankom and shady system of governance that we have in Nigeria. Because their economic hardship grants alleviation is a cack-handed disposition, very, very cack-handed disposition, because it's an avenue to siphon and amass another national into their pocket. I've always been saying that we don't have a good democracy that is being brought on the gen of the masses dividends. No, what we have is a government of a government of aristocracy, a government of gerontocracy, and a government of theocracy. Government that only interested in their private jeeping, Dubai, big stocks, and pepper souping. A government that has been throwing the masses into a state of abject penury. You are granting the masses 50,000 grants to alleviate poverty. Is that an economic prowess? Technically, this is a government that claims that they have so many economic experts as advisors. So what are these advisors advising them? This blueprint they just enumerate just kind of a square peg in a round hole. It will not enter. It will not work. Now, if you are saying you are giving, is that in fact this government lack appropriate scheme of work. They don't even know what to do. They are in a perplexed state. They are economically jamboreed. They don't know what to do anymore. They don't know the economic mathematics to adopt to elevate the 200 million plus Nigerians out of penury.
But Mr. Augustine, can you hear me? Yeah, before you continue, I really want to understand, do you think, looking at the situation that we are right now in the country, we are of course, we are still a developing country, but right now, the economic hardship, the challenges is really serious on Nigerians, and the president is coming up with 50,000 for each family. Do you think that 50,000 can feed a family for 1 week?
Well, that is what I'm coming. I was already on the way. I'm driving somewhere. Before the interruption, I'm driving somewhere. I know what I'm saying. 50,000 grants that they are bringing is a litmus paper to substitute and buttress you that the government lack political mathematics to ship to navigate the economic of nation to the promised land. They don't know what to do anymore. So they are looking for various means to say, at least in future, and they will say, "Did we not do this for the masses?" Meanwhile, what they are doing is total gibberish. How can you be granting? Is that how to alleviate people from poverty? This money they are, by the time they distribute it, it will enter into various people's pockets.
But don't you think? But don't you think that this is better?
Not have database. So when you have,
Mr. Augustine, don't you think that this is Mr. Augustine? Don't you think that this is better than nothing?
Yes,
don't you think that this is better than nothing? Like,
you said?
If the president did not do something, Nigerians will say we are suffering. Yet the federal government is not responding. But don't you think for the president to do this, that it shows that indeed he actually cares about Nigerians, he cares about what we are going through, and then they are working on it? Don't you think the federal government is doing something instead of just keeping quiet and not showing concern at all?
This is 0 over 100. This is 0 over 100. Every of the packages and programs you have been enumerating, if I ask you, you that is talking to me now, how many of those packages have arrived at your doorstep? on a given day? None. Do you even know how it was shared? No. You only read the headline. So the modus operandi, and modus operandi that the president has adopted is totally a nonsense. It doesn't follow. This is totally out of it. Because at the end of the day, this money will enter into the political caucus pocket, and that is all. Now, let me tell you, if you want to get people from poverty or stop the economic hardship that Nigerians are facing now, this money you are using now, use it to bring what infrastructure development, build more companies that will employ Nigerians, engage them in tax, reduce fuel price, go and enumerate agencies for price control. Let them go out there and regulate. Let them be in charge of price control. Let them reduce the price of foodstuff and cost of living. Nigerians will know that they have been relieved completely from these plans they are talking about. You understand me? So this principle, this pattern, this modus operandi they have adopted is not it at all. As I'm talking to you now, he did nothing. Elevating Nigerians from poverty is not this way. It's by what? Improving our core, our production, increasing our export, increasing what? Internally what? Generated goods and services in terms of what? Agricultural development, skills acquisitions, and youth what? Empowerment.
But this
in that case, you are actually what? Elevating. In that case, you are actually what? Elevating people from poverty. So this grant he said he is doing will further what? Cripple the nation, because at the end of the day, the poor masses will not even know how this grant was shared.
Okay, we have been talking about the grant. We have been talking about the 50,000 to 100 families. But this is not the only thing the president is doing. There are many others here. We have a 10,000 billion to each state, an FCT for bus procurement, and a compressed natural gas program. Looking at all the roads that he wants to fix as well. So don't you think that he's actually doing something? I mean, when you said that it's 0 over 100, would you have rather preferred rather that the president is on the mute side, is turning a deaf ear to Nigerians? Don't you think they will still say, oh, the president doesn't care about us? So, or the federal government, they're not doing anything. That's why I'm still coming back to say, why are you giving them 0 over 100? What about these other initiatives that is coming up?
It's totally 0 over 100. I'm still maintaining it's still 0 over 100. The initiatives and everything I've enumerated now, where are the effects on the masses? Where are the effects on the masses?
But we're just starting.
You are paying. If you are, yes, where are the effects? As I'm asking you, when last did you receive any of this benefit from the president?
Remember, it's for the vulnerables. It's not for the whole Nigerians. It's for the vulnerables. And don't you think that it's helping them?
You are saying that it's for the vulnerable. Every Nigerian at this point in fact, is vulnerable. You don't know. There is no one is exempted. Most people have not had their 3 square meal. In fact, they have not even had their breakfast as of today. And they are talking about everyone. When people cannot even, write a cast anymore, they cannot purchase food. When people cannot go to school anymore because they cannot pay school fee. When people cannot afford to even eat rice anymore because the cost is so high. When people cannot even purchase Gary again, and you are saying the president is what is the president doing? The president is absolutely doing nothing.
What were you?
The cost of living has not been ameliorated.
Okay, so if you are given if you're given opportunity, a free check today to tell president one thing to do, what will you rather tell him?
Of course, starting from what are we saying is this: increase. Let there be a fast pace in our internal production, and there will be a higher page in terms of our export. Reduce the cost, increase internal production, and strengthen Naira.
So if the president does that, If that is being done,
Yes.
if that were to be the initiatives that the
Yes.
president came up with, will you give him 100 over 100?
Listen, that when they came in, they have so many things in their manifestos. Ask yourself, those things they have in their manifesto, have they even achieved anyone? If he does that, you will be seeing the 100. It's not we even giving that you are saying. It's not even we saying you not score 100. No, the whole thing will be visible to the blind and audible to the deaf.
And you
If
think,
the presidency reduced, yes, let me tell you, the one thing, one action he will take now that will strengthen, that will in fact strengthen the economy as we put it this way is, let me announce that the price of fuel has been reduced the amount he met it before he entered into that post as president.
so Mr.
Let
Augustine,
him
all of these
reduce
ones are not
our
visible.
high. Yeah.
Mr.
Yes.
Augustine,
You said?
all of these that the president
Yes,
came up with, these initiatives, are you trying to tell me that they are not visible in the lives of Nigerians?
Not at all. Not at all. It's a wrong initiative. If you want to remove 200 million out of poverty, create jobs. We have so many graduates wasting away there in the public. We have so many graduates wasting away in the public. We have so many companies. Do you know how many companies that have closed in Nigeria recently? They cannot cope and compete with the economic crank of Nigeria economy has get into presently. For example, PZ has left, Huggies Pampers company has left, Microsoft closed down. Different companies have shut down in Nigeria. Why? Because the economy is becoming unfavorable to them. Now, these companies that have shut it down, who are the losing end? It's still Nigerian youth that are working to earn their daily bread. I heard one video that I said one thing, that if not for internet, private individuals and social media that have created, that is making a lot of Nigerian youth to be engaged in a living. For example, private individuals can come up with their capital. Private individuals can come up with their capital to establish company. They are employing people like Dangote and the rest. Now, in terms of internet and social media, there are so many jobs that people can work online. There are so many people can be on social media as content creators and the rest, thereby earning a living. Imagine in the absence of all this that we do not have all this. What would the federal government say that they are doing for the Nigerian masses?
All right, I understand. I understand you. Let's just proceed to the next story for today. The last story is on aviation. The Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Kayamo, has expressed concern over illegal private aircraft operations in Nigeria, which involve hard drugs transportation and money laundering. At the meeting in Abuja, he emphasized his determination to addressing these issues, highlighting that such activities undermine regulatory efforts, cause significant financial losses to the government, and pose security risks. Kayamo revealed plans for the crackdown on improperly imposed private jets, with noted number 80 operators must present their import document to the Nigerian Customs Service. He mentioned that some legitimate operators have been coddling with illegal ones by allowing the use of their licenses. He also announced the formation of the Ministerial Task Force on Illegal Private Charter Operations and Related Matters, tasked with taking inventory of all PNCF, that's private non-commercial flight, and AOC, that's also air operator certificate holders, investigating the persistence of illegal charters, validating the authenticity of pilot and crew licenses, recommending sanctions and additional regulatory measures. The task force members are selected from aviation industry and are described as reputable and high in integrity. All right, Ms. Augustine, Festus Kayamo, that is the Minister of Aviation, said that most of these private jets are used for money laundering and drugs trafficking. So what do you have to say about that? And if this is done, though they have put up measures that they will use in checkmating this, saying that most of those private jets are hiding under the ones that are operating with license. So what is your take on this? And if they know, what have they done so far?
So I think I'm gonna applaud the minister because trying to checkmate the issue of money laundering and the case of drug-related issues in Nigeria. I think is an applause for him. It's an applause. But you see, this government, I don't know how to go about their issues. Most often times, they are acting as if they are just waking up from the bed of the bed. And when you see them doing one particular thing, they are all trying to create this social media razzmatazz to show that they are working. If this man want to actually clamp issues, it should be robust and clearly done. Tomorrow again, we start seeing the issue of this and that. Then look, do you know that he is the minister of aviation? Do you know that cost of flight at this point in time is unbearable? He has not spoken about that. He has not even, in fact, I don't know, I believe he has not even tried to assuage and accelerate the cost of air flight in Nigeria. But this is where he's channeling his energy. Of course, he's also worth it anyway. But also, what my mission to him is let him some the cost of flight and transportation, the Minister of Aviation, because Nigerians are suffering. We cannot be flying from Lagos to Port 100 and almost 200k, or from Lagos to Abuja almost 2k, for in this same country that we are running at the price of 20,000 prior to before APC came into power. Jonathan, so those are the things they should be checkmating to make sure that these people are working. This is something that I'm telling you. That is how to alleviate the problem of the masses. That is how to remove the masses from this present economic turmoil that is subjected also. Not doing things that actually not engaging in things that we know that this thing has been existing there right from time. Because at this point in time, I don't think that there will also be total clamp down on those things that is agitating now, because I know that it's still the same political ally, the same them in quotes, are still the ones involving in all this. So one thing, because he see this, because proud to his becoming the Minister of Aviation, we know Festus Keyamo is always a kind of man that speaks with his tongue in cheek. You understand? He's also he has never been totally upfront once. Festus Keyamo has never been totally upfront. As far as something is favoring him, that is where you see his stomach face. When it's no longer favoring him, he dies away. And this time when you make this minister, what do you expect? So they will be looking for different things to show you that they are working.
All right.
They will look for different things to show you that they are working. If you actually want to let Ned know that he is actually working, let him do something about the cost of what air flight.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Augustine Owerum. You are such an amazing social commentator, and thank you for all the analysis that you have given on today's show, and we hope to have you some other time.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All right, so thank you, our viewers, for staying patiently, and we want to thank all the people behind the cameras, and I am Immaculata Ivrikana. You can join us on all our media platforms, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, X Atlantic TV Net. You can also watch us live on our website, atlanticnetwork.tv. Remember that peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Do stay connected on ATN Social. See we come your next time. Good afternoon.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-spot news, live analysis, expert